guys, my name's Emma and let's talk spooky stuff. No, I'm not gonna have these glasses on the whole time. That will really annoy you guys and I know you hate them. Let's start off by saying I assume that every single person who is watching this video, hopefully, watched my 31 Days of Horror. I wanna thank you all very, very, very much. So much for sticking with me. It was a hell of a ride. I don't know if I'm gonna do it next year, and I do say that every year, and then October rolls around and I'm like so excited to do it, but it almost killed me this year. But I've had a lot of different stuff going on, so that's probably why, which will be revealed later. Anyway, I'm going to talk to you guys today about my top films and my bottom films for the month. And I also have some questions picked out, just some like interesting ones that I've picked from my 31 day 31 of 31 Days of Horror, that I gave you guys a chance to do a Q&A kind of question thing. I only picked some questions. Obviously, I don't want this video to go forever, and a lot of what I'm going to be talking about probably covers it for all of you guys. So I hope I picked some good ones. I'm sorry if I didn't pick yours. This is just at the time of filming, and I want to make sure I get the questions that haven't been asked. Anyway, I'm going to start off by telling you guys the top 5 films that I love from the month. I gave 2 films, only 2, 8s. And those were my highest scores during the month. That was The Happiness of Katakuris, which was day 15, and Dread, which was day 17. The Happiness of Katakuris is a Japanese film that is a horror comedy musical, and Dread is a really, really sick, disturbing kind of drama horror. Obviously, highly recommend them both. Really funny. The IMDb rating for Happiness of Katakuris is 7.2, and for Dread, it's 5.6. So you can't believe everything. But I'm not going to go too much into detail with these guys because remember, every single film that I pull up, and this is why I'm telling you what day they are, you can go and check out my whole like little mini review. My next tier down is 7s. I actually have a lot of 7s. I believe I have 11 7s, 7-11. But I would have to say out of those 11, 3 I would highly recommend. Actually foreign films, which is really funny. One would be The Maid, which is a Singapore film. One would be Next Door, which is a film from Norway. And one would be Shrew's Nest, which is a Spanish film. For those ones, The Maid is day 14, Shrew's Nest is day 18, and Next Door is day 20. I have said in the reviews that Next Door and Shrew's Nest would make a perfect double viewing just because they're films that are about apartments and I don't know, like a twist of kind of psychological horror. So I really recommend those guys. I think that they're really creepy, disturbing, and weird, but also like a little bit psychedelic. The Maid's a little bit different. It is very much like a journey film. It plays into a lot of beliefs and superstitions, and it is just an amazing ride that I really feel like this film should be remade. It would do so well, but obviously still has to be set in Singapore. So those are my top 5. My bottom 5 would probably be a little bit easier for me. I rated 2 films 3. The worst film of the month was actually Halloween, which was Street Trash. So when I say Halloween, I mean the 31st. Street Trash, so yep, on the 31st, I rated that a 3. And Killing Daddy, which was a Lifetime movie, which was trash, but fun trash, but it was trash. And that was day 16. Funny is they're both rated over 6, like 6.1 and 6.2 on IMDb, which is really funny. And then I have 2 4s, which is The Collingswood Story and The Ghoul. The Ghoul was day 2, and The Collingswood Story is day 8. I didn't really get The Ghoul. I got it, but I didn't get it. It is a psychological horror. It just didn't turn things around in a great way for me. I've seen a lot of really good wrap-up psychological horrors, a lot of things that have done the same that this film has done, but a lot smarter, better characters, and more interesting. And this film was just all over the place trying to kind of trick you, but it was silly. I didn't like it, obviously. And then Collingswood Story, it was a found footage film. Well, kind of in a way, it was like through a webcam, which was interesting, especially for the time. It was from 2002, but it looked a lot earlier, I tell you what. But the story just never really got there for me. They had a really great setup. But if you're a found footage fan, I really recommend checking it out. It just wasn't there for me, and I couldn't rate it any higher than that. I then have a lot of 5s, things I've scored 5. I think I have 8 of them. So I only have to pick 1 to put into the bottom, which makes me sad because they're not bad films. And a 5 for me is I'll allow it. It's quite average, but I'll allow it. You know what's sad? I'm gonna have to go with Evil Speak, which I feel really bad about because my friend Alex from Australia, he recommended it. Sorry, Alex. It's just the one that spoke to me the least. If you guys haven't seen that film, it is from 1981. I watched that on the 29th. And it is actually rated like a 5.7. So it's not it's worth the 5, I think. But it's kind of like a really slow moving movie about a guy who's in military school, and then it kind of just gets a big bang at the end. But the big bang at the end was a bit too far gone for me. So I didn't really love that film. So that's the top 5 and the bottom 5 of the month. And now I'm gonna read you guys' questions and give you some answers. So Chbosky, one of my favies, Vanessa, asks me, what has been the best 31 days of horror over the years that you've done in terms of films? Also, is there a reason that you rate out of 10 instead of 5? Do you find it more difficult? Such a shame you had to end on a dud. First question, that's really hard because I've done 31 days of horror before I do reviews, but also before I wrote them all down. So I've been doing them for years and years and years. Things that stick out for me is, I don't know why, I always think about Digging Up the Marrow because it's not really films that I have been meaning to see. Those aren't the ones that normally are suggested to me. It's more films that I had no idea about and they blew my mind, and that's definitely one for me. I really love that movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's bizarre and awesome. And another film like that that I also really loved was Chained. That really affected me. Definitely check out that review from last year. That movie is great. Very weird drama, horror, sad tone. I loved it. And also one of my actual favorite films now is the Korean film The Chaser, and that was actually one of my 31 days of horror. Who knew it? So those are definitely ones that stand out to me. Through the years, I couldn't tell you. Like, I really couldn't tell you how many films I have watched. How many years? But that's a great question. The other question from you about the scores out of 10, I do that because I want more range. I started just doing it and I didn't really think about it. But it is easier to give a range, even though I don't use all of the numbers. I'm very aware. I don't really use, like ones and stuff. It's hard to judge a film, and every film is so different, and horror has the most subgenres. I always go on and on about this. Hard to put them all on like a leaderboard next to each other when, some films you like because of this and not because of this, and some films are just a great story. Some films just to speak are so original, and that's why I have the originality in scare score. Scare score, I'm kind of gone a little bit astray with, I'll admit that, because I don't know what is scary anymore. I just don't know. And I don't really watch too many actually scary movies, believe it or not. I don't know. I feel like I'm desensitized. My next question is from Raiders AK, my friend Felix. What film would you say is a must watch, and what film is a must pass? Obviously the pass would be Street Trash. For the must watch, I would say Dread, only because The Happiness of Katakouris, I don't think that's for everyone. Dread, I don't think is for everyone either, but I think a lot of you guys who watch me, you'd love it. It's very much what we talk about here on this channel. My next question is from Valerie Brooks. She says that I don't think you gave any of these movies 10 out of 10. No, I didn't. I don't really do that very often. What horror movies, any horror movie, deserve a 10 out of 10? Thanks for doing this for us. Oh, thank you for being here. I don't know if you saw, but recently I did a 10 out of 10, my first 10 out of 10. And that was for Gerald's Game. It was my first ever 10 out of 10 review. So I've come close. It was pretty close to me, the remake. I thought that was amazing. The reason I gave it a 10 out of 10 was because when I did do the review, Dean actually asked me, why aren't you giving it a 10? If you think it was so amazing and so perfect, why aren't you give it a 10? And I just felt like that is a really good question. I don't feel like it's a 10 movie. I feel like it was very close to it, but there was just a couple of things that I would like a little bit different if I was, who am I to say? But when I watched Gerald's Game, I was like, not one thing, not one hair on its head do I want changed. That's so lame. So that is why I don't really give too much 10 out of 10s, and that is the film. There's also a huge review on that, so check that out. My next question is from Random TV, which is Random Ross. What is my favorite foreign horror film that I watched this month? That is obvious. That's The Happiness of Katakouris, but Shrew's Nest, Next Door, and obviously The Maid and Cario, Pulse. When Animals Dream. I mean, technically they're all foreign horror movies to me, but I did have some really good foreign horror gems, so thank you for that. Erica asked me, what is my favorite guilty pleasure or trash movies that I can't get enough of? Thank you so much for sticking with me, Erica, by the way. I love the Paranormal Activity movies. I don't know if that's trash. Lots of people think it's trash. It's my trash. I love it. You know what I really love? Repo, the Genetic Opera. I think that movie is amazing, and so many people think it's trash, but I like that. I think it's fun. My next question is from Matthew. Thank you again for your kind comment. I really enjoyed reading all of you guys' comments from the month. They were amazing and they got me through, trust me. What makes a 5-star movie for me, which I've kind of already answered. Is there any that I can think of, not necessarily horror? I've kind of already answered that. He also kind of touches on the fact that I say I really enjoy a film, but I give it a 7 out of 10. I kind of have like an idea in my head of films and why I rate them. So like 5 is all right, take it or leave it. 6 is all right, but has something special to it. 7 is a film I would recommend to somebody. 8 is a film that you must see. 9 is a film that you must like own and rewatch and go to the cinema straight away. And 10 is God. He asked me if there is any films that I can think of, not necessarily horror, that I would rate a 5-star. I'm assuming you mean like a 10 out of 10. Like a 5-star, 10 out of 10. I have just said Gerald's Game, but other films that I would give a 5 out of 5 is Fight Club. I think that film is amazing. And also Silence of the Lambs. I think that film cannot be flawed. Like, I actually think that that is one of the most perfect films. And although it's not my favorite film ever, it's just an amazing film. There's nothing you cut out. The story is perfect. It keeps you on your edge of your seat. The characters are intriguing. Another one would probably be Pet Sematary. I think that that is an ace horror movie and it has all the great aspects of a horror movie should have. My last question is a hard one. It's from Tim Ross. If you had to star as a lead actress in 2 of these movies, which movies and which roles would you pick? And he also says, which of these 2 movies would you want to re-edit or direct but put your name in the credits as a result? That is a good question. Okay, let's start off with the actress. I would definitely pick Company of Wolves. Definitely, hands down, the main chick. I forget her name, but I think that was sick. The second one I would pick is When Animals Dream. She wasn't like a stereotypical looking chick. I'm not very stereotypical looking. I really liked her role. It was strong, it was silent. I wouldn't have to remember much lines. So that's definitely it. I'm gonna pick for the directing the ones down below because I think that obviously the ones up high, why would I change anything? I think that We Are the Night, I would definitely change a lot of aspects in that. I would just take out some of the really stereotypical things that they put in there and make it a little bit more of a silent film and not so dialogue heavy, and the characters not trying so hard and not so stereotypical, more of a mystery type vampire than like an in your face, we have the cash, we have everything. Just a little bit more slow pace. And the other one I would do was 5150 Elm's Way, because that film was amazing. Like, I really liked that film, but then it just kind of got let down by several aspects, which I do talk about in the review. That is definitely a film that I would love to see being done and just tweaked a little. So that was really easy. I didn't think it would be that easy, but I watched a lot of films this month. And my last thing I want to say is obviously thank you so much, guys, for sticking with me. It's rough. It's rough when you have to watch a movie every single day of the month. You have to film, which is not, it's a very relaxed filming process. Obviously, you guys saw with my face mask and everything. And then I have to edit it. So, that's taking like 3 or 4 hours out of my day every single day for the whole month. You do the math. And, that's 7 days a week. So it's a lot. And I'm not saying it's work because it's fun. It's just a lot. Next time, maybe I'll do like 12 days or 10 days. I don't know. The main thing that I love about this kind of stuff is that I get to do it with you guys. Without your support, without your comments, without your thumbs up, I know it sounds lame, without your tweets, without everything, I would not do it. Like, I wouldn't do it. It's impossible. So I really, really appreciate you guys. I want you to know that from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate everything you do for me, and we're only gonna get more cool content. I have so much cool content planned. It's coming out of my ears because I have had to like kind of put all the ideas together and put them in a box to the side. So we're definitely gonna have some fun coming up these couple of months. I won't be doing 12 days at Christmas because I'm going to New Zealand for Christmas, which I have mentioned, but don't be alarmed. There will be a lot of content coming out. I'll talk to you guys very soon. Stay spooky, guys. Bye.